who has to do more for a win on Sunday? Is it more on Joe Burrow or Josh Allen's shoulders?
I think Joe Burrow has to do less because I think he has the better surrounding pieces. You look at Josh Allen. Josh Allen got to be the running back. He got to be the quarterback. And, when you look at it, Joe Burrow doesn't have the pressure, right? You think about the emotion that's going to be in that arena. Joe Burrow has proven that he has a slow heartbeat, right? Right now, this is all the pressures on Josh Allen to live up to expectations. He was supposed to be the MVP of the league. The Buffalo Bills are supposed to be the best team in the AFC. Right now, Joe Burrow has his team right where they want them. They're peaking and trending at the right time. The only thing that concerns me is the fact that this offensive line is injured. But right now, I think that Josh Allen has to do more. I think Joe Burrow is going to have the better performance because of the surrounding pieces. Even though both teams are compromised, Joe Burrow without 3 offensive linemen, Josh Allen without the support of a strong running game, and of course that defense is been altered because of the loss of Hamlin.
Look, man, I don't disagree with you here. When you talk about who needs to do more, I would tell you it's definitely Josh Allen. I think that it's not just about Joe Burrow having the crew that he has. They seem to consistently do their job. Whether it's Jamar Chase, it's T. Higgins and the crew. Here's the issue that I have with Buffalo. Stephon Diggs, to me, he's not the only talented dude on their squad. They got talent with Singletary and Gabriel Davis and all of these guys. They got talent on Gabe Davis, right? They got talent on the Buffalo Bills. But the only person that shows up consistently in my eyes, for Josh Allen is Stephon Diggs. And because of that, I think that's one of the reasons we see Josh Allen being a bit risky and taking chances that he doesn't need to take chances with running the football. And I also hate when they run these design plays for him because he takes unnecessary hits at times, and I just don't think that's a good thing. But that's where I'm at with it, Bart. It's not necessarily about the personnel, the talent. It's about the fact that it's about knowing your role. It's about doing your job and doing it consistently enough on a week in, week out basis. I see Stephon Diggs doing that. I don't see anybody else week to week doing that. 1 week is Singletary, 1 week is Davis, 1 week is somebody else. Whereas every week is Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, and I think they'll need more than that in order to beat Cincinnati.
I hear you on that. Loud and clear. Also when you look at the loss of Von Miller, I think the loss of Von Miller not having a closer, somebody that can consistently take advantage of the fact that Joe Burrow has 3 offensive linemen out. His left tackle, he's going to have a backup there to make it tougher for Joe Burrow. But I think this is going to be a tough assignment for Joe Burrow because of that unknown of how they're going to be able to keep him upright. And does that mean that he has to get rid of the ball quickly because he's going to be under duress immediately? Does that change the passing game? And does that mean that they won't be able to run the football with the loss of 3 offensive linemen? And if that's the case, it's going to come down to who has the better arm talent. And, that remains to be seen.
Bart, do you think this should be played on a neutral site?
It absolutely should be played on a neutral site because I think what goes, it's unfortunate the incident that happened.
Of course.
But the Bengals were winning that game. And if the Bengals would have won that game, they would have had an opportunity to compete for the #1 overall seed. I think the easy winner in this whole scenario is the Kansas City Chiefs, that they get to come out and essentially get a bye week when they avoided having to have a tough matchup in the divisional round. I think it should have been, I don't think the Bills should have earned the right to be able to have home field advantage because that affects everything. People say, oh, well, it's not a big deal. Who cares? You should be able to win on the road. That's fair. But you talk about the things that happen when you play at home, you're able to make all your corrections. You're able to adjust and change plays. On the defensive side, you know that the opposing team may have to go on a silent count. They can't make as many checks. So now you're getting off the ball faster. So I think, because of what happened on Monday Night Football, this should be paid in a neutral site. And you would have hoped that the crowd would have been split, 50-50. They could have found a place. They could have played in Cleveland because both of these teams are outdoor teams if you want to still have them playing the elements. I don't think that Buffalo earned the right and deserved a chance to host this game. And we don't even get into the financials of what it means for the organization.
You know what? I'm going to go in a different direction. Not only do I think that Buffalo should not have gotten the right to host this game, I think they should have had to play it back in Cincinnati.
Yeah, that's fair.
The fact of the matter is, that's where you were playing the game when it was canceled. To me, I wouldn't have had a problem with that at all. I really wouldn't. Cincinnati was up 7-3. They were about to go up, like you pointed out early in the show part, up 14-3. They were on their home turf. Had they won the game, they would have been a number 2 seed. Buffalo would have dipped to number 3. I'm not saying that the Buffalo Bills should be punished or anything like that, because like you would have lost the game or anything. That's not where I'm going. What I'm saying is the game that got canceled was in Cincinnati. So why shouldn't you have to go back to Cincinnati, albeit it's a playoff game instead of a regular season game? My attitude would have been, all right, now you got to go there and win in the playoffs.
Yeah,
That's what I would have been like.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but next week, if these teams face whoever goes in the NFC Championship, that's a coin toss, correct? So I don't understand.
I believe it is.
Neutral site. Oh, it's a
neutral site.
Okay.
It's a neutral site. Yes.
So because everything was thrown off, everything should have been a neutral site. I understand the financials and teams and organizations wanting to be able to reap the benefits financially because that's what you live for, right? This is probably $50 to $100 million when you think about for the local community. But I think, it should have been neutral site for all these games.
Yeah.
I agree.
If it's Buffalo, Kansas City, it'll be in Atlanta.
Yeah. I don't like that. I don't like
the city
that.
Stephen A. is willing to go to in case you're wondering.
It's
available to go
Atlanta lemon pepper wing.
Hold on. What are my choices? What are my choices? What city?
I'm just saying, I know your rotation. Like, you could do New York, you do LA, you do
Yeah, but I'm asking you.
You do Atlanta.
What choices do you want to give me? I'll pick it for you right now. I'll pick the city for you right now. What choice you giving me?
I think they should have to play in Nashville.
I'd go to Atlanta. I'd go to Atlanta.
Lemon pepper,
Do you want to mention
This weekend is going to shift to Joe Burrow. And we will now have questions going into the offseason about Josh Allen, why he can't get over the hump. It's the Peyton Manning, Tom Brady syndrome, right? It's the he can't seem to get out his own way. It's the AFC East. It's the Dan Marino to Jim Kelly syndrome. Can't seem to get out of the East. That's what you're going to be looking at. And it is fair to question the perception of Josh Allen if he loses this weekend, just like we do everybody else. And Jay, you are right in a sense. When you're the number 1 overall pick, no matter what position you play, if you're not doing something that somebody thinks you should be doing, you're supposed to be the savior of a franchise. And if you haven't gotten them to where they feel they need to be, then they're going to look at you differently.
So, Key, I don't know why this name keeps coming into my head. And I know their games are very different. Their styles and their approaches are very different. But I kind of see it trending. If Josh Allen gets knocked out by Joe Burrow, gets knocked out by Patrick Mahomes, like this James Harden-like feel to it, right? Like he does so much during the regular season, an absolute beast, puts up incredible numbers. But when it gets to the playoffs and you feel like you need it, he can't get you over the hump. And I feel like that narrative around Josh Allen starts to become a really big thing. It already kind of became a thing last year, but the rule got changed now because of the way it went down with him and Patrick Mahomes, and now it starts to become a bigger thing, especially if Joe Burrow with this offensive line is decimated, finds a way to beat Josh Allen.
Let me give you another
Bills.
analogy. I think I get that. I feel the same thing. I think of it more like Elway. Elway, although he got to the Super Bowl, right?
Elway was going to the Super Bowl like we was eating Tic Tacs,
no question.
man.
He got them to the Super Bowl, but he wasn't able to get over the hump till he really wasn't Elway anymore at the end of his career, and they got him a running back. Then he won back-to-back, right? But people forget the perception of Elway back then was, yeah, he's great. He's the chosen one. He's got all this talent.
That's,
oh, my God.
That's fair and true.
But couldn't now Josh
but
Allen, I can't say it's Elway.
No, Max.
What's that?
But he was going.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying.
That's
but
what
the
I'm saying.
analogy is this. He's like Elway light in his career. You can't call him Elway because Elway was winning playoff games, getting to the championship, and then losing. But it's like Elway light. When you look at the guy with the most stuff, you go, oh, my God, Josh Allen, the biggest arm. Everyone wants him to win. Everyone wanted Elway to win back then. But it was Joe Montana winning all the Super Bowls, right? It would feel not that because Joe Burrow hadn't won a Super Bowl either. But in this analogy, Burrow is like Montana, and Josh Allen's like Elway. The more talented kind of
So
guy
what is
that
Patrick
everyone
Mahomes?
He's a whole different thing. Mahomes is just like, he's on his own. Mahomes has done it all. He's done it all. He's Marino meets, Brady or so. Like he wins.
Marino didn't win nothing, though.
Exactly, yo.
No, right. He's Marino in terms of he's just better than everyone.
Is there any cushion
meets Joe Montana? He also wins more than anyone.
Is there any cushion for Josh Allen considering what happened?